Time to try to sort out the AFC playoff picture heading into week 9. As usual, the Playoff Computer app is used to provide the base of this analysis. If you are a fantasy football addict and want to know exactly where your team stands before unloading your fab, or have all sorts of geeky data to share with the league, check it out on the Play Store. And fair warning, this is a mathematical analysis with no bias for or against any teams. The only things that matter are actual results, with tiebreaker status and the nuances of remaining schedules telling us where things stand. With that being said, the team in the AFC with the highest statistical chance to make the playoffs is, of course, still
We're number one.
the Kansas City Chiefs.
We're number one.
A real newsflash, I know. Beat the Raiders to improve to 7-0. Do have a couple teams not too far away in the rearview mirror, but still are 3 out of 4 favorites to win the AFC West and 97% to make the playoffs. To take the division, they need between 10 and 12 wins, with the possibility of only 8 wins being good enough for an AFC wildcard, 9 being fairly safe. So they only need a couple more wins, and while their remaining schedule isn't a pushover, it does include the Panthers and a rematch with the Raiders. Next up is perhaps a more challenging run of the Triple Bs, Buccaneers, Broncos, and Bills. Not too much sense talking about their tiebreaker status at the moment while they are running away with all the wins. The Strouds remain in the second spot after beating the Colts for the second time this year. With that sweep, that effectively gives them a 3-game lead over the Colts, and with no one else in the division posing any threat, means they are now better than 4 out of 5 odds to win the AFC South, and a shade higher than 9 out of 10 to make the playoffs. Should just need 9 or 10 wins to take the division. Their remaining schedule is sort of Jekyll and Hyde. Got games with the Lions and undefeated Chiefs, but also still have 2 against the Titans and play the Jets this week. Overall, it adds up to certainly doable as long as they don't run out of wide receivers. The Buffalo Bills stay in the 3 slot with a beatdown of the Seahawks. Another team with near unsinkable odds to win their division, as they only have 2-win teams to compete with. Put them down for 85% to be AFC East champions and better than 9 out of 10 to make the playoffs. Get a chance to complete a week against their nearest, and I use the word nearest quite literally, competitor, the Dolphins. The Colts and Chiefs before their bye. Might only need 8 wins to take the division, although 10 is the current safe mark. The Pittsburgh Steelers move up 1 to number 4 after eventually beating the Giants. Unlike the others, they are in an actual battle for the division. Haven't had any division battles yet. Right now, approaching 6 in 10 to take the AFC North and 86% to make the playoffs. If things go sideways and they end up in wildcard territory, they have wins against the Broncos and Chargers if needed, but a loss to the Colts. On their bye this week, come back with games against the Commanders and their first battle with the Ravens. Looking at most likely needing 11 wins to take the division, though it isn't mathematically unreasonable to achieve it with less. To make up for the Steelers moving up 1, the Ravens moved down 1 after losing to, of course they did, the Cleveland Browns. That does put their conference record at 2-3 for tiebreaker purposes. And as of now, they don't have any head-to-head wins or losses against any other teams that are in the middle of the wild card battle. Haven't had a cakewalk schedule so far, and it's not planning on letting up anytime soon. Broncos, Bengals, Steelers, Chargers, and Eagles for the next 5 before their bye. Right now, about 1-3 to take the division and close to 7-10 to make the playoffs. The Denver Broncos seem to be getting on track, and they've moved up to number 6 after beating the Panther punching bag. Now, whether they can keep it going against playoff contenders, the Ravens, Chiefs, and Falcons for the next 3 will be interesting to find out. As of now, 15% to miracle past the Chiefs for the division, 69% to make the playoffs. Should just need 4 more wins for a wild card. Just have 2 head-to-head results that look possible to factor in later. Both losses, one to the Chargers, which they can avenge, and another one to the Steelers. The Los Angeles Chargers are at number 7. Beat the Saints to get back above 500. 1-10 to make their own miracle in the division. Just short of 6-10 to make the playoffs. Going to make their rounds of the AFC Appalachian division for the next 4. Browns, Titans, Bengals, and Ravens. Watch out for them if they snag 3 out of those 4. The Colts fell back to 500 with their loss to the Texans. Division hopes are fading. Now just around 1-10. Playoff odds of about 45%. 3-3 conference record with not really any results that currently look like they would come into play for a wildcard tiebreaker. A couple of tough battles upcoming. Vikings and Bills. The Bengals gave up some ground they might not have been able to afford to sink to 3-5, down to about 1-4 to make the playoffs. Likely need to finish 6-3. They're going to need to beat some quality opponents in order to accomplish that. Get the Raiders at home this week, and then Ravens and Chargers before their bye. Really can't afford to lose too much more ground. The Dolphins begin our tour of teams that are likely already out of it. Lost to the Cardinals to fall to 2-5. 17% playoff odds. Not much hope for the division. Would likely need to win out to take the AFC East. As it is, probably need to finish 7-3 to make the playoffs. Do have 6 remaining opponents currently below 500, so maybe they shouldn't throw in the towel quite yet. The New England Patriots beat the Jets to improve, quote unquote, to 2-6. Likely too little too late. 1-10 mathematical odds to make the playoffs. Titans this week. And the Cleveland Browns, with that win over the Ravens, also joined the 2-6 club. Same 1-10 mathematical odds. Chargers this week before their bye, and not an easy remaining schedule to even think about miracles. The dysfunctional team of the year nominee, New York Jets, also 2-6, also little hope. Texans at home, and then only one other team that is currently above 500 to play if they need any good news. The Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2-6 group as well. Eagles, Vikings, Lions, and Texans for the next 4 if they want to defy all the odds. The Las Vegas Raiders have dropped 4 in a row, realistically out of the AFC West. Wouldn't need the same witchcraft as the other 2-6 teams. Could ruin the Bengals season this week, though. The Tennessee Titans have the distinction of being the only one-win team in the AFC. Patriots this week for pride. That is the AFC picture for now. Until next time, enjoy your day.